Hello, Western Oregon sports fans, and welcome to this edition of Wolves Weekly. Joining me today, we have Brad Saindon.
Hey, Danny.
Well, you're one of the more well-traveled man here on campus. You and your volleyball team have kind of been all over the Northwest in these last couple weeks. Talk to me a little bit about just some of your journey, some of the travel you had last week.
Well, as you have indicated, we've been on the road 3 out of the first 4 weeks, and really 3 of our toughest trips. So last week we had the arduous journey we played Seattle Pacific in Seattle, which is the easy part of that trip, and then from Seattle we had to go to Montana Billings and play them on Saturday night. So it's just an odd match for travel partners, and it was a very tough weekend travel-wise and also on the court.
Well, let's talk about, first of all, with the court right there. You guys went up to Seattle Pacific, as you said. You start off the weekend with the defending GNAC champions.
SPU is a terrific volleyball team. They were the co-champions of our conference last year. Excuse me. They only lost 1 player from that team, and they actually replaced her with maybe a better player than the one that they lost. And they are selected by the coaches as the favorite to repeat. And they're just balanced, and they're very well coached, and they have confidence, and they're kind of on a roll. I was really happy with the way we played that match. We played ourselves into a position where we could have won any 3 of those sets. They beat us 3-0. However, we were right in all those sets, and if we had done the right things at the right time, there's a chance we could have won any one of those sets. If you're able to win sets, you're ultimately able to win a match. But they're really good, and you've got to be really, really good to play with them and ultimately to beat them. The good news is we get them later on in the year at our place. I think we'll be a better team later on. We still have lots of room for growth and development. But Saturday night I left that match satisfied, and I thought it was a good learning experience for our team. And I thought after that match we were better after the match than we were when we went into that match. So in terms of that, it was a successful evening.
And sometimes you can't always, as they say, you can't always grow with wins sometimes. Sometimes you do have to kind of struggle through those, a little bit of tough losses on those, and I know that losses aren't the thing you usually want to dwell on, but you can usually take lessons out of them. Talk to me a little bit about this Montana State Billings match where you guys went 5 sets, and as you mentioned, it was 115 to 114 was the total scoring. I mean, that's a pretty small margin of separation.
The Montana Billings match was as close a volleyball match as I've ever been in. And as you said, that if you combine all the total points, the final score was 115 for them and 114 for us. And one of the lessons I've been trying to teach my team is the margin of victory and defeat in this conference is minute. It's so small. And this is a perfect indicator of that. 115 points to 114 points, 1 point after 3 hours of play, basically. So hats off to Montana Billings. I thought they played a terrific match against us. They were able to do the right things at the right time. They were able to win the match based on their performance. I thought, once again, we put ourselves in a position to win that match. In fact, we made an unbelievable comeback. After the first 2 sets, it was 1-1. In the 3rd set, I believe we were down 24-19, and we were able to ultimately win that set 28-26. I thought we had all the momentum at that point. The crowd was kind of out of it, and we jumped out. At one point, we were up in the 4th set 16-9. We had a 7-point lead pretty late in that set. And once again, hats off to Montana Billings. They were able to fight their way back in that set and came away with a win in that set and ultimately won that match in 5. So I think there's a famous coaching cliche that says you don't win very much. You don't learn very much when you win, because no matter what you might have done that you could learn from, it's like, well, we won, so what? When you lose, however, that loss stays with you, and you look at every tiny little thing that you might have done. And so I'm hoping that each individual and our team as a whole will look back at that match and see where we kind of went astray and how we can get better, because there's going to be other times when that happens as well. I think that 4 out of our 6 matches thus far have been 5-set matches, so that's just life in this conference right there. There's so much parity, and all the teams are so good that there's a good chance we could be in any number of 5-set matches down the stretch here as well.
Well, fantastic. Well, Brad, thanks for stopping by and giving the fans a little insider information on how the matches went. We'll be seeing you a little later in the week for the preview edition. Thank you all for watching this edition of Wolves Weekly.